Brenda used to walk these streets with pride. Her husband Chris, a patriot by her side. But the weight of the world came crashing down when the government tried to take the ground. They stole Chris away, said he was a threat, left Brenda alone with words of regret. CPS came knocking, took her children too, but Brenda stood tall like the sky so blue. Bring back Brenda, let her light shine bright. She's been trampled on, but she's ready to fight. Don't tread on her, she's got a heart so true. Through the darkest nights, she'll pull through. Every day she fights for what's been lost, pays the price, bears the cost. Whispers of hope through a podcast wave, telling her story, she'll be brave. In the heartland, they know her name, her struggle, her passion, her undying flame. She dreams of a day she'll hold them tight, Chris and the kids in the morning light. Bring back Brenda, let her light shine bright. She's been trampled on, but she's ready to fight. Don't tread on her, she's got a heart so true. Through the darkest nights, she'll pull through. Every day she fights for what's been lost, pays the price, bears the cost. Whispers of hope through a podcast wave, telling her story, she'll be brave. Oh, in the heartland, they know her name, her struggle, her passion, her undying flame. She dreams of a day she'll hold them tight, Chris and the kids in the morning light.
Okay, hello. Yeah, it sounds like it's working okay. Am I on? Am I going? I'm not sure. I could check. Oh, here we go. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you for getting me up and going today. I don't know if y'all ever check out my TikTok. I got now it's under freedom with like three. Let me turn this down. Sorry. It's under three exclamation points after. Because I just posted something. Do you guys see this? What's going on in Connecticut? It's unbelievable. This guy apparently has been held captive for 20 years. Okay. Yeah. And the cops are going on and on about how they sent like DCF out there in 2005 and didn't see anything wrong. Okay. They had some kind of call like from the school or something like that. That something was off. And then, so this is freaking 20 years later, and the guy tries to, he attempted to burn down the house so that he would have an escape avenue, I guess. Poor guy is like 67 pounds or something. Can you imagine this? This is like what I'm talking about. The stepmother. Okay, I don't know how this comes into freaking play, but I understand he hasn't seen his biological mother since he was 2 years old.
So this guy was locked away in a basement for 20 years?
not in a basement, in his, like, in a room, just like, and it was like all these locks, like, throughout the years they added more locks and more locks onto this. And it didn't even, apparently he didn't even have a bathroom in there, because the cops saying he, like, made some kind of rigged up something that his piss would go, like, through straws out the window. Like,
What?
it,
Holy shit!
craziest story I ever heard in my life. Yeah, it's in Connecticut. You should, yeah, if you find it, go ahead and freaking play it. It's
I will. I'll look for it. I'll look for it right
now. Yeah, Connecticut, man held captive. Pretty much, it should come up. And I did. That's what I was trying to say. I did a TikTok on it. I don't know if you guys can see this. See, I never can do this. Right. See this? They found this guy after 20 years of being locked up, held captive. He's treatment of humanity that I've ever witnessed. Right? Wow. Honestly, this was a stepmother. We really couldn't believe it. It took a lot of convincing amongst ourselves to just really accept what was going on. And it's really hard to talk about stuff. I mean, it's shuddering to think that someone would treat any person offending of it, or someone that was entrusted as a guardian or a Oh, see? It's again with the guardians. They're stealing our children away from their biological families. This was a 2-year-old baby. This is the last time he seen his mom was when he was 2 years old. And now this man was 60,
anyone could treat someone this way.
67 pounds or something.
That they had. It's devastating, and we're going to make sure that the systems are working into the future to see what might have happened 20 years ago when this may have been reported. But
yeah, somebody reported 20 years ago that something was going on. My God, my God, DCF hard at work.
They keep it secret all that time.
Wow. Unbelievable. This is the humanity. It's really, really, it's unbelievable to me. I'm sorry, I can't get over it. Connecticut. This happened in Connecticut. Kimberly Sullivan is the victim's stepmother.
We can send people out to check and look at it. I don't know what this is.
Well, and that's the thing. And she got a bond. This is what I can't get over. People like this are getting a fucking bond. Well, it was $300,000, whatever. But still, at least she got a freaking bond. But I mean, after doing this, do you think this woman deserves a bond?
Right. Did you see the picture of the person?
No, I didn't. God.
Here, I'll put it up for you. Wait till you see the guy.
Oh, no way.
And his stepmom. I don't know who this is, but
yeah, I seen the mom being arrested. Oh God. She looks like a freak.
yeah, that must be. Yeah, I'm trying to find you guys a video here to go with this, but
I just was watching. What was I watching that on?
He's been there since he was 11 years old.
Okay, 11.
Police launched it. Wow. He was found severely emaciated. Jesus Almighty.
Wow.
He was in this house right here. Look at that. It looks like that guy that was in that mass murderer dude.
Well,
that's crazy. I'll keep looking here. I thought it showed him. That advertisement showed looked like him, but I guess it was not. Hold on a minute.
Let me see where the frick did I find that at? I just had YouTube on today, and I think I've either been watching, like, I think it was on Fox or something.
Is there a film? Over here.
Oh, sorry about that.
Fox 34.
Let me see what I had.
Try this one, yeah.
I wonder what.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah, what's
here
Fox?
We go.
Yeah.
Ready for this? Wow, look at this place. Oh my goodness. Nothing's wrong here.
Right?
Keep on moving.
And apparently they're saying
go.
the school principal.
No, they're fine. You can live in that. That's nothing wrong.
Huh.
CPS, keep on moving.
Right? fucking boarded up windows. Maybe people thought nobody lived there or something. What the hell?
Yeah. It's fine. Come on. I'm so sick of them messing with my.
Continue to follow developing news tonight out of Waterbury, where a woman is now in police.
Yeah, the one thing I seen, I mean, they go on and on about it, but it's cops just talking about it. And I think somebody from like DCF even came up there and talked.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to get this. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know. That's crazy, though. Sorry to bother you.
Yeah,
I just thought that I heard you say that.
Good
I said,
idea
wow.
to throw it. Actually, you can go. Well, I didn't cover it that much either, but let me see. I'm going to see if I can find that again and then just send you the link to what I was watching.
Debugging connection is closed. Okay.
Fox News. I think, what do they call it? A press conference, maybe, that I was watching?
Yeah, they didn't call it a press conference. They call it a freaking. That's just horrible. Absolutely.
Even the cops are saying it's just like they couldn't even fucking fathom somebody could do this to someone.
Why would you?
And look, it is hard to find. I'm going back on YouTube, and I mean, it's freaking hard to find now. That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, we found somewhat of it. You know what I mean? That's it. That's all it takes. Consider Connecticut. Danbury, Connecticut?
Waterbury man says he was held captive.
Waterbury.
This is just short stuff. This is some 30.
Just one second there. So safe, man. Just see the man.
Let's see it.
All right.
Kimberly Sullivan is charged with assault, kidnapping, and cruelty. Police say last month Sullivan's home caught on fire, and her 32-year-old stepson told investigators he set it intentionally because he told them, quote, "I wanted my freedom." Police say they uncovered evidence the man had been starved, abused, and neglected for 2 decades. Sullivan denies the allegations. She's being held on a $300,000 bond. Our Kay Pattyfoot is covering the story tonight, and we'll have more on the Fox 61 News at 10.
Yeah. More news.
Yeah, they'll have a hell of a story there, I'll bet.
Wow. Yeah, like I say, it's just like, and then what really gets me is the people that they're locking up aren't the criminals. I mean, they're not the ones that we have to worry about. I mean, for how many decades have they been arresting people or stalking people or putting them on their list or whatever you want to call it? And then how worse does the country get because you keep arresting the wrong people, or the people that are the criminals they do arrest, and then all of a sudden they let them go. And God forbid somebody's trying to help with this freaking problems across the country and lock them up and don't give them a bond and don't give them whatever, a plea deal, nothing. You're talking about Americans. I guess it's just sick how it works with these people that are doing these horrific things. I mean, this lady should get the death penalty is what should happen.
Oh, of course. That shouldn't even be a question. Don't you agree? Don't you think that shouldn't even be like, that's not even go to trial? That's just like right to the courts.
Her of what? Let me see. Maybe I can find this again. It reminds me of my ex-stepmother who tried that with me when I was 10 because I refused to. My brother stopped her from crushing my chest. Wow. See what I mean? I mean, it's really scary because that's why I'm thinking to myself is like, if my kids were able to, they'd be calling me or they'd be freaking finding me. Okay. There's some reason that's holding them back from getting a hold of us because they're young adults now. And I would hate to think something like this is going on, but I mean, it would be an explanation as why my kids aren't able to get freed from these abusers or whatever you want to call it. That they're the ones that's kidnapping our children. I mean, just turn around and say a mom, a biological mom, is kidnapping like her own daughter, like what they did with me. I mean, that's not even possible. It doesn't make any sense because when, they have to be taken against their will. Okay. If it would, if it would constitute kidnapping. If my daughter's telling me, Mom, I've been waiting for you. I got my bags packed. I'm ready to go. And I could see the situation that she was in. I mean, but then, cause you get, the thing is they put this persona on you with these false bulletins that they put on people. So they have a perception of you that somewhere down the line, somebody didn't like your entertainment or whatever reason. And then they pass that along to the next sheriff department. Maybe you go from Maine and you go to freaking Florida, because I'm telling you, this bulletin that we have a copy of, every step of the way, it talks about my husband's films and how somehow they believe that these are his beliefs, whatever he's putting. Well, all I know is we believe that we are against police brutality. And this is something that, like, as a nonprofit, we worked on for many years, trying to reduce violence across the country. So it's kind of curious that, the same people that would want to make this country and maybe even the town they live in a better place, they would be turned around to look like, oh, well, you're a terrorist because you're on this freaking list. And then when they arrest you, and this is what happened with my husband back in March, I think it was that he was arrested in March of last year. In April, this officer that came to our door in regards to this cartoon on TikTok, okay, so he goes up on the stand and he was being questioned about, his interrogation, because he came a month forward interrogating my husband. But he has in his hand this freaking bulletin. We know it's the fucking bulletin because we have a copy of it. And he's calling it intelligence. There's nothing in intelligence about this bulletin. It wasn't established in a court of law. It doesn't have any true or valid information on it whatsoever. And that's what they say. They can't tell the difference between reality and science fiction film, or whatever you want to say. And again, that's what Darren says. If somebody doesn't appreciate what we're doing on this show, like I say, we're doing it for, entertaining. Maybe we're trying to educate a few people along the way, prepare them for what you might have to deal with if CPS comes, into your life. And but if you don't like what we're preaching, turn the freaking channel. Nobody's got you tied down and held captive to watch this show. Okay. And same thing with my husband's YouTube films. Nobody's forcing anybody to watch this stuff, okay? And nobody in the freaking except Dixie County, Florida, apparently would think that anything is real about what my husband's doing. I mean, that's what you think about, Quentin Tarantino. He did some pretty off the wall films. I mean, I guess if you're rich and you have money, you can do this. But if you're using YouTube and these other platforms to broadcast your creations, just like anybody else, how is that, how is that a problem and even like, how is that a problem with CPS? Because they think that my husband's entertainment has affected is keeping us from caring for our kids. It didn't make sense. And then they would twist everything around like, okay, well, and even this freaking Dixie County Advocate newspaper, what a freaking joke this is, because the lady is like, her brother or her husband or somebody was a deputy with the sheriff department. And she kept plastering this stuff in the newspaper every time that they would arrest us from some god reason after they already stole my kids. I mean, it's just crap. Okay. I just downright bull crap. Okay. Cause they're trying to, like, they set us up for failure like a year before my children were taken, putting false trespass orders on us. And then, because I noticed, okay, I go to this, my husband, we're trying to get signatures, because if you get 1,000 signatures, you can be on the ballot and you don't have to pay anything. Okay, you run for sheriff. So we're going around getting signatures and doing this, and I see this building, this small building, whatever. It's a little town, and it's got Trump signs all over it. And how many people? Okay, so this is 2016. How many people have ever seen these buildings that are abandoned, but election time comes around and they'll make it into election site? Okay, so I figured that's what it was. But in fact, the sign for the office, it's an attorney's office. It happened to be the county attorney, okay? The same county attorney that's now in prison for bribery and conspiracy. But anyways, so I go in there and I was saying, oh yeah, I thought this was a, whatever. I was showing her my Trump card. I had a Trump Christmas card at the time. And she's like, oh yeah, I got one too. So this is like the secretary or whatever. And she's like, no, sorry, I can't sign this because this is actually a attorney's office. I said, oh, okay, fine. We had a wonderful conversation. In fact, she walked me down through the parking lot, and she was leaving for lunch or something. I get home, not even an hour later, cops are knocking on my door, say they have a trespass order for me and my husband not to ever go to this office again, or, we'd be arrested. Oh, no, or they're calling it a trespass order. So whatever that meant, we looked it up and even talked to local police, because the police doesn't seem to be bad like the sheriff's department was. But they said, well, no, your husband would have had to be on that property in order to get a trespass order against him. Like, he never was. And then it wasn't long after that, we had, there was our preacher said he saw something about us in the newspaper. And this is the Dixie County Advocate I was talking about, which is across the street from the other place I just talked about. And so it was a couple weeks later. So I went down there and I'm like, I said, could I get a newspaper? I'm ready to give her 50 cents or whatever. And she's like, oh, no, just keep it. Don't worry about it. She gave me the newspaper. And what I read in there is that, okay, so Dewey Hatcher Jr., that is the son of the sheriff, was contracted to do work on our house. Okay, this is where all our problems started, I believe. Okay, you have these strangers in your house. I'm homeschooling my two youngest kids, and then all of a sudden, Department of Education, everybody else is calling me. But in any fact, when I got home from that occasion, they okay, here you go, you got another trespass order. I'm like, what? And I said, do you have a piece of paper that says this, that I'm trespassed from? No, this is just a verbal warning. I'm like, really? I'm not even getting anything in writing and saying I'm trespassed against this freaking building. And for how long is this? Is this for my entire life? Or like, it doesn't even make sense at all. So, what's going on with Athena? Oh, Debbie, that's wonderful. What's wonderful? Have you guys good? Oh, okay. Yeah, these people need to know that, because I didn't know that I wasn't like the only one that this horrible stuff was happening to. My children are taken. My family members are like, Brenda, you must have did something wrong. They just don't take your kids for no reason. I'm telling them, oh, well, that's what happened to us. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But, it's just so messed up. It just, because I'm at the point where, I just want to be able to see my kids. I want to be able to see my family. I had promises that when they turned 18 that somehow we would be able to connect through this, what do they call it? The adoption reunion registry. Bull crap. I'm sorry to say. Ain't nobody connecting on there. I mean, we put ours in, like for Florida, we put in one nationally. I don't know what good is that ever going to do. I really don't. Because all that is run by the DCF, right? I mean, we can't trust them because you can see the links they go to try to set you up for disaster and then take your kids. And like, as we're finding with so many, I mean, they're not going after these healthy children. I mean, they're not going after the ones that have drug addicts for parents and that like were born, the poor child was born like with drugs in their system. They don't want these people. They're good. Oh, they're fine. They're going to go live in a tent somewhere and be drug addicts, but they don't care about to take those children because they're not healthy. And they wouldn't make them very much money because they're not seeing children. They're seeing is money signs when they see these children. It's just so horrible. What's Jonathan saying? In my situation, they have a copy of cut and paste evidence. They submitted that to the courts air, and it was done like 6-7 times in that one piece of evidence. That's what a weird thing that happened with our cases. Like, okay, so when they took the kids, my youngest son is named after his dad, Christopher Paul Cameron II. And in the paperwork, it says, we're not sure if Chris is the biological father for the kids. No, I just named them after, it's just freaking believable. It's just so idiotic. Well, you guys are getting to spend time, and that's good. I'm so glad, and it was working out. And did anybody? I know some of y'all were there for Danielle's reunion with her son. I mean, let's get some positive notes on the fact because, hopefully, everything else will fall into place. I mean, you get one child back, and it could start like some dominoes effect. But instead of going down, we'll be up in heaven. Thanking God for getting our children back as well. I mean, all this has to be exposed because I was very interested in who was on that show last night, Rick Martin. That was very interesting. Now he's saying he's connected or able to talk with who is now the FBI director is Kash Patel. Okay, because that's what I'm wondering. Like, I've got some numbers to FBI and stuff like that, but throughout the years with these corrupt FBI that's been in place, I mean, have y'all tried to call down the FBI? Because they got me on some type of list. If I say my name or they figure out what my number is, you have been advised not to call here. Like, okay, like I'm a repeat caller. Because I've reported crimes and nobody's doing anything about it. Maybe that's why I'm calling back. You ever think of that? And something about, like, again, with our words, they just can't get over it. What's coming out of our mouth. Okay. They don't want to be exposed. And I'm sorry to say, if you don't want people knowing the horrible things you do, why don't you just stop doing these horrible things and be, live for God. We'll pray for you because, you're supposed to be able to forgive your enemies. And that is the one thing I've had a problem with my whole life or whatever. And I don't know why they want to be our enemies, but, yes, wasn't it awesome? See Alex come on. He was so cute too. I think he looks a lot like Danielle. He reminds me so much of my daughter. This is why, because Sage is autistic too. And I think, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be great? They would get along so well. If my kids could come home, and actually my son Chris is the same age as Alex, and they could all be friends, and they could be, they could start their own show, right? We're the victims, child victims of CPS. We can get their own show started. Because once our kids come back, it doesn't mean we're going to stop and not fighting for any parents out there that are struggling through this, because don't ever give up. And Danielle will tell you the same. She never stopped. She never stopped. I mean, her case wasn't as long as some of ours, but I mean, 2 years is a long time. You think about it, and to be able to, have that, like, it's going to be a lot of healing time that they'll have to go through. But I can't imagine what this boy has been thinking all this time. Like, he just wants to be with his mama. I mean, it's ridiculous. He wants to be with his family, just like any of these kids. So, what's going on, guys? Trying to keep up with the chats here. Oh, you're going to walk into the office in Anchorage with our local records that they've been ignored. That's what I was about to do, because, like I said, that strange call I got from Social Security, and I was about to go down there, but I decided, like when I was down in Florida, I was going to go down there and say, hey, this is this is the birth certificate. I'm the mother. I'd like to figure out, they're trying to figure out where, why these checks were being written out for my daughter. Nobody was cashing them. It's hard to believe. But yeah, he's changing the story from the first time he called looking for my daughter's address. But in any case, that whole thing is weird, because Social Security is it's very questionable how all these people they're finding out all these people were on this list to get Social Security, and they're not even people don't live over hardly over 100 years old, let alone 200. It's unbelievable. That's why I can't believe that a child that's receiving Social Security, all of a sudden they can't find this child, and then it doesn't that concern Social Security at all. Oh no, there's nothing nothing more we can do or need from you. Well, yeah, you fucking give me this bizarre call about my freaking daughter. I'm like, oh, what the hell is going on? All right, you guys are going at it with the messages here. I want to get my son home. Yes, I feel your pain, Chris. My ex-husband's attorney threatened with financial retaliation if I file contempt, because it's still being denied in the court order of medical records for our daughters, and being denied my court ordered. Rules have changed. You have to make an appointment before going. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. I was just going to show up down there, because what a pain in the butt that is. I don't want to go down there and sit all day. Oh, so you're getting video calls every week. That's good. I mean, any physical contact there, Athena, at all? I mean, are you getting, because we wanted to do, it's kind of strange, because ours happened, in 2016. That's when we were doing, what they call it, did another thing for the video calls. I can't remember what the name of it was, but my daughter was all excited. She's like, oh yeah, we want to do video calls with mom and dad. And the judge said, okay, sure, that's fine. But then where they were placed, they wouldn't allow it there. My daughter couldn't even call me, or I couldn't call there to speak with my daughter at all. Where my son was, she did allow calls. But for a while, my son went to live in the same place in Alachua County with this one lady. Apparently my son, and with the monies that they got from fostering, they were able to get a brand new pool put in, and my son was made to help build the deck there. And I was talking to somebody the other day about how they're saying, like, originally they said my kids weren't able to take care of themselves. But then we find out that my son was 10 years old, made to babysit all these little babies in that foster placement. And he's saying, like, he's like, Mom, I'd rather be in school than watching these kids. Like, how are you going to put that responsibility on a child to watch all these foster placements? It's so, I mean, how many kids? My son was in a house where they had like 5 babies or something like this that she's fostering. And then they would send my son to a daycare because apparently this lady had another job. And my son at 10 years old, he was too old for daycare, but they were sending him there while this lady was at work or whatever. I think that was the times where like they weren't in school or something like that. And Canada is forcing that on me. I have to go through their special portal email thing instead of the regular. Yeah, I can't stand those things they're sending you through these fucking portholes and whatever. It's so ridiculous, and I can't even get in. I'm trying to look at my husband's court records because I like to keep up with what's going on. God forbid if you think the freaking attorney that we gave thousands of dollars to might be able to provide me with a copy of this brief that was put in. But God forbid they want me to freaking go through the trouble looking it up when they can easily email me this crap. I'm so getting sick and tired of these freaking attorneys that I mean I could have bought a house already with the amount I gave them for my husband. I've never paid an attorney before in my life. I can tell you that. And it's not, it couldn't have got any worse for my husband. So I just don't know. It's, all I got to do is pray about it. And hopefully, we get some answers soon because, I mean, my husband just can't, he wouldn't be able to take it. Okay. If he would have to stay there in 15 years, sorry, that's a death sentence for my husband. Okay. It's not going to happen. Okay. So somebody better get their crap together and get my husband out of there. And that's why I want to talk to this Rick guy, Darren, that was on there yesterday. I need to talk to anybody that has any connections with the FBI or
Rick Martin.
Yeah, I emailed him. Hopefully I got the right email. But it's what you guys
put in the chat. Yeah, the don't tread on me something like that.
Yeah, yep. Yeah. But
you can try to call him on Messenger also. He's Constitutional Law Group on Messenger.
Constitutional Law?
Yeah, Constitutional Law Group, I believe is who he is.
Okay.
Or let me look for sure here what his name is for you.
Yeah, because I'm like, I need to talk to this dude because he's talking about talking to Pam Bondi. Well, I've been trying to get a hold of Pam Bondi because there was a Florida Attorney General there, right? She didn't do us any favors. I mean, they're always referring you back to somewhere else that's not going to help you. And like the governor's office, you call there and they'll direct you back to DCF or whoever's above DCF, which is the same entity. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. There's got to be some I don't know what you say is some kind of responsibility that they have to be having somebody oversee this DCF and CPS. It's just like it can't, if the governor's, it's not their responsibility though. Who the freak is the responsibility? I mean, children are being trafficked on a daily basis. So it's just frustrating. And just think, I was talking to that, what was that gal's name? She came into my chat yesterday. Then I ended up talking to her. God forbid we talked for over 2 hours last night. Her name was Tina something. I don't know if I wrote down her name somewhere, but she had some story about she said maybe she'll come on one time and tell her about the story where she actually met Trump. So
oh really?
Yeah, it was like a while back, kind of a weird situation. She was working as a maid in Chicago, and for some reason they were supposed to pay her cash, and for some reason she didn't get paid that day, and then she had to try to raise some money for like $5 to get home on the bus. Well, she's saying she was like the only white girl or something there when all these other panhandlers were out there, and she just had a cup out and she was sitting down on the ground. Apparently all of a sudden, like, this guy with shiny shoes come up, and then she looks up and she said she didn't even know who Trump was at that time. All she's seen is some guy with beautiful blue eyes. And
I've seen this movie.
You seen that movie?
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
I swear to God, I mean, this, I'm sorry to say, but this, it got a little bit out of, I'm like, she kept telling me she was going to get to the point of the story is when she met Trump. But I'm telling you, it took us a long time to get there. I'm like, is this when you met Trump? It's like, but I mean, there's another victim, of course, like, apparently her husband had like poisoned her like with antifreeze, and it took her so long to get like her brain into a place where she could even function at all. But she also said, yeah, it does sound like a movie, because she says after he walked away, like walked towards the Trump Tower. I didn't realize there's Trump Towers in Chicago, but maybe that's not true either. Whatever. But she
Trump
said,
Towers everywhere.
oh, okay. But she said when he walked away, he like it was like the Wizard of Oz. He clicked his heels together and did a little dance. I'm like, what the fuck? Apparently, because her little kid had came back one day or something. I don't know, from school, or whatever, and he says something about Donald Trump is president, and she had no idea because she hasn't been paying attention to politics. She's just been trying to, get her life back in order and stuff like that. And so coincidentally enough, then she ends up meeting him. I guess apparently some lady came up to her after, like coming out of this limousine, which also headed over the Trump Tower, after she came and gave her whatever she needed to get back home. I don't even remember how much she said that she got, but
A heart, a brain, what was it? A heart, a brain, and what else was it?
um, what are you talking about?
Wizard of Oz. She said the lady gave her whatever.
Oh, some money or something, just so that she could get home. Because she really
That was
did
the other
have
one.
a job. She did have a job, but for some whatever reason that day she didn't get paid. But she said, when she looked up at Trump, all she seen was these beautiful blue eyes, and he didn't say a word. And I said, well, that's weird, because that's just like my dream I had of Trump. I always tell everybody about this dream I had of Trump, and like figure out one day maybe it will come true. Brenda, can you shut up about me? Thank you. Oh, okay. That's okay. I'm sorry, Tracy, but I couldn't get over that story. Yeah, see, because I'm not good at telling stories. You got to redo it. You got to come on and do it. All right. So sorry. But I think it's a great story. But like I say, my story, the my dream was, I was in like an emptied out bingo hall, and I was standing there waiting, and then Trump comes walking through, gives me a kiss on the cheek, and I try to like spit out love, like I'm trying to tell him about my husband. I'm trying to tell him about all the stuff that we had going on at that time. I think this was actually right before the kids got taken. And you're trying to tell them the successes about this resume we sent or whatever. I wanted to tell them a lot. And he just kissed me on the cheek and walked away. And I just figured everything was going to be okay after that. Like, I just had that feeling in my gut. And, I don't really dream much anymore. And I think that's because some people say that if you smoke weed, that it kind of affects your dreams from, happening. But I don't know. I do like to smoke my medical marijuana, but I do like to dream, because sometimes the dreams are the only things we have in life that we can go into this fantasy world and not be living this reality of what's how fucked up everything is in our situations with not having our kids and all. Because I mean, that's the only way it seems like we get to see our kids is through dreams. And it's sad to say. I know I told my kids one of the last times I saw them, I says, let's just remember, we're all looking at the same moon, so maybe sometimes, like, it looks like the moon was getting pretty full last night too. I'm getting excited about it. Some weird shit happens with these full moons. But in any case, yeah, there was another messed up dream I had. Well, no, that one was a good dream. The messed up dream I had I was mentioning about going into a video store. Like we always did that with the kids. Like whenever they were little, running around, and we're trying to. That's when the CDs were popular, or whatever. And you go rent a movie, and we'd spend hours in there just looking for stuff to watch, whatever. But my dream, we went into one of these video stores, and at the top there was cages along the top, which most of them had like animals in it. And I said to my daughter in the dream, I said, well, which one do you want? And she pointed to a girl in a cage, and she says, Mama, I want her to play with. So that's weird. Because does anybody believe that, sometimes these dreams are like intuition of things that may come? I know sometimes I'll sit there and watch a movie, and I swear to up and down, my husband would be like, Brenda, we've never seen this show or this movie before. I'm like, well, I freaking dreamt it, because I know I could tell him exactly what's going to happen in it. It's weird. It's weird. Some people have a certain sense, you know what I mean? A certain sense of I don't know, sixth sense, sixth sense. All right. Yeah, I think some people have just, I don't know if it's a blessing, or I don't know. It's weird. I can tell when people have it just by talking to them, if they have it or if they don't. But sometimes I think some things are unexplained. But in any case, what else did I want to talk to y'all about? My husband finally got his tablet in jail or prison, and I got it last week, but trying to get him to be able to get some money turned over to his media. Okay, you take the commissary money, supposed to turn it over to media so you can get games or whatever, something to keep you occupied during the day. And for some reason, that money ain't transferred over. It's aggravating the crap out of me, because there's nothing I can do on this end. Apparently, it's something that he's got to do over there. Now, I do, because he said the money was transferred, and then all of a sudden they said, oh, no, it was unsuccessful. So God knows there's nobody to talk to over there about trying to straighten that out. But hopefully I guess now they have a little podcast that he can watch, and other things that he could do. Is the show over? What's going on, guys?
No, is he able to? Why would the show be over? Is he able to see our show? Is he able to see YouTube or anything?
I'm not, I don't believe YouTube, but he's able to get podcasts. So if somebody's if you get the name of somebody's podcast, or if you guys are podcasting this,
well, I think we're going to do that. I think we're going to shift to have a radio version of this also.
Because he said he's been listening to some, he can't really find anything good but Love It or Leave It. And apparently that John Lovett that used to be on SNL or whatever, I guess he's a all-out Democrat now, and he's always talking trash about Trump. But I mean, this is a subject to listen to. He said sometimes it's funny anyway. But yeah, it's kind of funny, these people that used to be you really liked them. You thought, oh, they're just funny person, love that actor, and then they have to start putting politics in it, and it's like, okay, goodbye. Just like that Stephen Colbert. I swear to God, we used to love that. We used to love to watch Stephen Colbert on a Daily Show back in the day, and then he turned into a real freak. Man, I just can't understand that Stephen Colbert. That is so messed up. To Howard Stern, he's another one for you. I should like to watch that crazy stuff. In fact, we went down to New York for our second honeymoon. This was back in I don't know, 96 or something like that. And I went down there, and I did everything to try to get on that Howard Stern show. And in fact, I used to be a call-in guest on that show. They used to call me the religious freak or something like that. I have no idea what I even was calling about. But in any case, we got as far up. We went in the building. The information desk officers, okay, go up to this floor. We got to the floor on the elevator. Got off the elevator, and we almost got in there. They're like, okay, wait a minute. And then we end up, they're like, oh no, sorry, can't get you on today. We go out this back door entrance or whatever. It was weird. And then seeing these goth looking couple, and we're like, they're like, oh, were you able to get up there and go? Did you see, did you get to see Howard Stern or anything like that? And dumb, stupid us were like, oh yeah, well, we went in there and tried, but and so those guys went in, and we're listening on the radio later. Those guys got in, and they were on the show, and we weren't. But I opened my mouth and let them know how it was done. That was crazy. But we had lots of touches with greatness, I guess. That's the day, like I had that picture when Smashing Pumpkins was on the show. So we saw the Smashing Pumpkins going and getting ready to go into the building, and I kind of followed their entourage, and I had this form. We had this list and getting all these people to sign, execute all the lawyers. I said, would you like to sign our petition? We're trying to get signatures if you agree to execute all the lawyers. And they just, that one dude, the bald-headed one, he just like laughs, and they just kept on walking. But I do have a picture of that with the back of my head. And then also, what was that, in Washington, D.C., they were having some WTO, I think they call it World Trade Center, where everybody gets out there and they protest this. We didn't know what the heck that was about or anything, but hey kids, we're going on a field trip. We're homeschoolers, and we're going on a field trip to Washington D.C. for this protest, right? And Tim Robbins was there, and I got to talk to Tim Robbins, and that's another one. If you guys want to watch a good movie that's funny, it's Bob Roberts. It's got Tim Robbins in it, and this is where Jack Black got his start. It's a very funny movie. It's all about this guy running for office, and along the way, like, he sings songs like, hey, bud, you're living in the land of the free. No one's going to hand you opportunity. It's so funny. I love that movie. I could watch it over and over again. It's called Bob Roberts. What else? And, so then when I got to talk to him, I said, are you going to make a Bob Roberts too? And he said, I don't know. I might just have to run. So at that time, like, I took it like, oh, well, maybe he's going to run for office. But like I said, that was a long time ago, and that never happened. But I think Tim Robbins would make a good politician. That would be fun. That's when he was still with I guess his wife. What was that? Sigourney Weaver. She was there too, but I didn't get to see her, so that was exciting. And I went to see another time when I was a kid. My parents took us to this play. Henry Winkler was in this play, and then afterwards they were passing out these autographed pictures. It said the Fonz on it. And I'm trying to still wonder for my sister if she still has that. But, one thing we did when Chris was running for legislator, when we lived in Maine, you could see that up on YouTube. It's like the red brick church or something like that, where Ron Paul was going campaigning there. And Chris has some stuff on one of his channels of that, but we have pictures of Chris shaking the hand of Ron Paul. He's got his Captain America coat on. And then you could see in one of the pictures, I know we have this on one of our hard drives or something, but one of the pictures just sees Ron Paul going like this, like, because the Sage and Chris, they were just very little at that time, and he's going to like hug and shake the kids' hands. It was so cute. But that's when I got to talk to his wife. What is her name? I can't remember right off, but we had all these CDs that we had made. This was like, Chris also posted on YouTube. It's called Stupidly. It's I don't know if anybody remembers when Obama was in office, and he called law enforcement, said they did something stupidly, and Chris made a film that showed all the mistakes and all the disasters and all these things that happened. He wasn't even in the film. He just like played different clips of all these disasters that happened when Obama was in office, and said, and then we called it stupidly because we thought he acted stupidly. So that in itself, that movie would show we're not anti-law enforcement. Sorry, people, we're anti-police brutality, and that's all it ever was. But so that in that case, that's how we kind of got to meet Ron Paul. And then I talked to his wife, handed her one of these CDs, and then she sent me a letter. So actually, they live in Texas, and hey, I have their address. Maybe you should go say hi. I live closer to Texas now. But I was thinking of writing her or something, because I've been trying to get through to this Rand Paul, and it doesn't seem like there's any success. But Ron Paul has like a thing, something liberty, something about liberty. They still have the, all these places I used to call, and stuff. And it's kind of weird that law enforcement wants to turn around that now, like, phone calls are harassing. It's they always feel that they're being harassed. Somebody's calling, asking for some help or something like this. But I don't even see the chat anymore, guys. Is that gone? Do we have a problem with that? You still got the chat up there, Darren?
Yeah, I'm just editing a couple of things.
Okay. Got somebody excited. Sorry to say. I'm sorry about that. And what else? So get back to my brushes with greatness. The other one was Chris was, I don't know if it's the same time, because he ran for legislator twice. But George W. Bush was running for president again, and we went to this big airplane hangar, and we were like right on the front line. It was me, Hawk. I think this was, maybe Sage was a baby at that time. Can't remember for sure. But we were on the front line. Bush came in. He was shaking people's hands that were all lined up. There was like people that were able to line up, and everybody kept coming up to Chris thinking he was like security. And he's like, he's just like, okay, go this way. You can go this way or whatever. And so he got to shake the hand of George W. Bush. And it's kind of funny throughout his life, he used to be a boxer up in Cleveland. Actually, he boxed at the same gym that Mike Tyson used to box. I mean, they didn't do it at the same time or anything, but I thought that was Rocky Marciano's gym or something. That's when I first met him. And he was waiting for the bus and wondering why wasn't anybody on the street. And he's waiting at the bus stop, and he sees, who was it? It was Reagan that went by. Like, Reagan went by, and I think he waved. We've seen Clinton. We were at some rally up in Cleveland with the kids. All of us had posters saying like Clinton's impeach the creep. And so that made the newspaper and everything else. My son, that was Hawk that was holding that sign. He was in elementary school, impeach the creep and all this other stuff. And so they did a whole article on it. And he went by, and I think he gave Chris a thumbs up. And then who was the other one? It was Reagan, Bush. Okay, you got the, what? Somebody's ringing the doorbell. Who is it? Okay, I better go see, guys. Okay.
This is kind of like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood type. Is it going to be the neighborhood make believe? Wow, this is kind of scary. Boy, it's kind of like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood a little bit. Oh, who's here at the door, guys? It's kind of scary. And the one that posted those comments up there, I'm sure she does apologize, and she didn't do anything on purpose or rashly, just so you know. But we try to keep the comments to a positive, guys. So please just be aware of that. We have enough negativity in this movement that we don't need to add to the feng shui of it. As I'm sure she didn't mean what she did. I'm not saying that you weren't right in what you were saying, but maybe if you guys have a problem with the shows, send an email to cpsvhuntingjustice@gmail.com, and then I can look at these and I can address them properly. We just don't need to raise the hairs of the dogs, guys. And by letting anybody see that we have division amongst us just makes us weaker. So let's keep the appearance of a fully unified front. And we're gonna stop talking about it now because here she comes.
All right, sorry, I got somebody at my door, some kind of provider thing. Now I got Chris calling. Apparently I had an appointment that I didn't know about. My house is a mess. I said I'm not going to be able to do this. And she's interested in the podcast or our show, so I was like, she said she's gonna send me her number, and I'm gonna send her the link to the show because she's very interested in this. So yeah, she's somebody from the health.
To accept this call, press 0.
Okay.
To refuse this call, hang up or press.
See, sometimes it doesn't register.
$28.15.
All right, but maybe Karen, I guess we can go ahead and wrap it up. I'll see if Chris wants to say anything live.
Thank you for using GTL.
Hey Chris, I'm still doing a live show. If you have anything to say, any words of wisdom?
Well, I just think that you're the greatest in the world, the best one. Mother, I love you so much. You mean so much to me. I love you so much, Brenda. You're the greatest.
I love you too.
I found out that I do find out about the media. They switch it. I have to do it at the canteen.
Oh, you have to do it at the canteen. Okay. See, I was even telling these guys, not that anybody cares, but I'm letting them know. So we're wrapping the show up anyway. So see, they're playing the music. We're gonna be out of here in a minute. But I love you too.
Brenda's heart's been locked away in chains. 15 years of struggle and pain. Kids taken away by a faceless form. She rises up in the darkest storm. Her voice touches hearts in a broken state. Podcast waves spark their fight and fate. Brenda's strength like a blazing fire. Inspire the lost to lift their desire. Brenda's cry echoes loud and clear. A warrior's heart, no room for fear. Stand up tall, let no one bring you down. In her voice, their freedom found. Government shadows, secrets untold. Brenda's story, fierce and bold. She helps others break their chains. Together they rise from the ashes of pain. Her husband waits behind iron bars, but Brenda knows they'll reach the stars. Oh, her love unyielding, a beacon bright in the silence of the night. Brenda